The rain was pounding so hard it felt like the sky itself was breaking. I was about to lock my shop and head home when I saw them, two little girls, no older than 7, huddled together under a flickering streetlight, soaked to the bone and shivering. They didn't have umbrellas. They didn't have coats. They didn't even have shoes. I brought them inside, thinking it was just the right thing to do. But I had no idea, the truth about who their mother was would turn my entire life upside down. If you believe that small acts of kindness can change lives forever, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because this story will prove it. The rain was relentless that night, hammering against the tin roof of my small repair shop like 1,000 tiny drums, drowning out every other sound in the world except the occasional rumble of thunder that shook the glass windows. I had stayed later than usual, finishing up a customer's old motorcycle because the man said it was his only way to get to work, and I knew too well what it felt like to rely on something so fragile. It was already past 9, and I was just locking the main door when my eyes caught something unusual through the misty glass, a faint movement in the dim light of the street lamp across the road. Squinting, I saw them. Two small figures huddled together, their thin arms wrapped around each other, their heads buried low as if the rain could be ignored if they just pressed close enough. I frowned and stepped outside, the cold instantly biting at my skin. As I crossed the road, the puddles soaking through my worn boots, the sight became clearer. Two little girls, maybe 6 or 7, dressed in light summer dresses that clung to their small frames, their hair plastered against their pale faces. One had a ribbon in her hair, though it was frayed and hanging loose. The other clutched a tattered stuffed rabbit to her chest as if it was the only thing keeping her safe. "Hey," I called out, trying not to startle them, but they flinched anyway. The older one, if you could call her that, maybe just by a minute, looked up at me with wide, terrified eyes, the kind of eyes that told you they'd learned not to trust strangers. "It's okay," I said softly, bending down to their level. "You're freezing. Come inside. I've got heat, and maybe something warm to drink." They hesitated, glancing at each other like they were silently speaking in a language only they understood. Then, slowly, the older one gave a small nod, and I held out my hand. Their fingers were ice cold as they placed theirs in mine, and I guided them across the street into my shop. The warmth from the old space heater hit us as soon as we stepped inside, though my shop was hardly a cozy place, just a cramped room with the smell of oil and metal in the air. I found a couple of clean towels and handed them over, watching as they awkwardly tried to dry their dripping hair and wipe the rain from their faces. "What's your name?" I asked gently, but they stayed silent. I noticed their matching features, the same soft jawline, same hazel eyes, same way their brows furrowed when they were unsure. Twins, no doubt about it. "All right," I said with a little smile, "you don't have to tell me anything yet. But you do need to warm up." I went to the back, grabbed the emergency stash of instant noodles I kept for nights I stayed too late, and put some water on to boil. While the kettle hissed, I peeked into the shop area and saw them exploring cautiously, one tracing her fingers along a row of screwdrivers, the other staring at the wall calendar with its faded picture of a sunny beach. Something about the way they moved told me they weren't used to being indoors like this, at least, not in a place that felt safe. When the noodles were ready, I set 2 steaming bowls on the workbench and handed them over. The moment they tasted the warm broth, their shoulders eased just a little, and the younger one, still clutching the stuffed rabbit, actually gave the faintest smile. I asked where they lived, if they were lost, if their parents knew they were here, but each question was met with silence or a quick shake of the head. It was clear they weren't going to give up much tonight. So I didn't push. I figured I'd just let them rest for now, maybe call the local police in the morning if no one came looking. I found an old blanket in the storage room and laid it over the worn couch in my tiny office, telling them they could sleep there for the night. They curled up together instantly, their little bodies pressed so close it was hard to tell where one ended and the other began, like they were afraid the world might pull them apart if they didn't hold on tight. I sat at my desk for a long time after they'd drifted off, the sound of the rain now a soft background hum, my thoughts wandering to my own daughter, Emma, who was just about their age when I lost her mother. Emma was 12 now, growing too fast for my liking, but I still remembered the early years, the fear in her eyes after her mom passed, the way she'd cling to me at night like I might disappear too. That same fear was written on these girls' faces, and I couldn't shake the feeling that whatever had brought them here wasn't just about getting caught in a storm. Somewhere deep inside, I already knew this was going to be more than just giving two strangers a place to stay for a night. Around midnight, I heard the younger one mumbling in her sleep, clutching the rabbit tighter. I leaned in, trying to make out the words, and caught just one, "Mommy." My chest tightened. Where was their mother right now? Did she even know they were out here in the storm? And why did the thought of finding her suddenly fill me with a mix of dread and curiosity? I didn't have answers, only questions and a growing sense that my life had just taken a turn I hadn't planned for. Little did I know, the truth about their mother would not only shake me, it would connect to a part of my past I thought I'd buried forever. If you believe kindness still matters in this world, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because the next part of this story will leave you breathless. Morning came with soft sunlight streaming through the dusty blinds, but the girls were already awake, sitting quietly on the couch, hands entwined. I made them toast and asked again where their home was. This time, the older one spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "Mommy is looking for us." My heart eased a little, until she added, "But we were told to hide from her." Before I could ask what she meant, the roar of an engine outside made them freeze. A sleek black car pulled up, and from it stepped a woman in a tailored suit, her hair immaculate despite the morning wind. Her eyes scanned the shop until they landed on the twins, and in that instant, her composure cracked, pure, desperate relief washing over her face. She ran inside, dropping to her knees, pulling them into her arms. "My babies," she cried, tears spilling freely. I stood there, stunned, because I knew that face. Years ago, before my wife passed, she'd been the lawyer who fought for our family when we were drowning in debt. She had saved us, and now, somehow, fate had brought me to save her children. If you believe life brings people together for a reason, like this video and subscribe now.